This video is brought to you by the EA Creator Network. Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Special warm welcome if you're brand new here. My name's KiwiSimsKate. Kiwi because I'm from New Zealand, Sims because I love the Sims, and Kate because that's my name. Welcome to another build and the second that I'm bringing you here from the world of Innisgreen. And I'm building today a family home with a bit of this whimsically, cottagey, fairy-ish vibe. And of course, this is all thanks to the recent expansion pack that we got called Enchanted by Nature. So if you are planning on picking up either Enchanted by Nature or any other Sims content for that matter, you can in fact support my channel by using my code at checkout if you're making any purchases on the EA app or thesims.com. It's super simple. You pop my code KiwiSimsKate into the promo box at checkout and away you go. No extra charge for you, but it does help support me with a small commission. If you do, of course, use my code, I will be incredibly grateful and just always appreciate everyone's support. Now, moving back onto the build, I wanted to build something larger than the last speed build I created here for the new expansion pack, and actually built this on my stream as well. So if you didn't already know, I stream live over on Twitch, twitch.tv/KiwiSimsKate. You can catch me over there if that's something you're interested in. And I do building on that channel, but we also delve into a lot of gameplay. I've got a legacy family on the go. They're actually in their 10th generation, so that's been a long gameplay feature of the channel. We also do a bunch of other gameplay as well. Building's really my absolute passion, but I really enjoy gameplay with the community. It's always fun. It's a bit chaotic. I get to kind of bounce ideas off of our community. So if that's something that sounds appealing to you, come over and join us in Twitch. Otherwise, of course, love having you here as part of my YouTube community as well. So back to the build, getting distracted yet again. As I said, the last build, which I'll link here at the top of this video, that I created for this expansion pack in this world, was a 1-bedroom home. It was a residential that I created for a fairy. It has very whimsical vibes, magical vibes. I used a lot of the new toadstools and magical looking plants in the garden. So this time I wanted to build something both larger, so it would house more Sims, and also something that could maybe be a little more flexible in terms of its style. I could totally see this build fitting in somewhere like Henford-on-Bagley as well, and possibly even some of the other magical occult style worlds, if you do have any of those packs as well. And I also wanted to bring in some brighter colors. The last build I did for the fairy house was using some sort of darker wood tones and darker bricks and stone. This time I wanted to inject a little bit more color, have it be a little lighter and a little brighter as well. So I selected this lightish stone for part of the exterior, and then I went with a couple of nice bright sidings. So the kind of scale looking one, the one that kind of almost looks like dragon scale, that came with a new expansion pack, and I used this really lovely soft mint green. And then the other siding, horizontal plain siding, is actually, I believe, just a base game siding in this blue. The world around this build, around this lot, is very colourful, and so whilst I took inspiration for kind of the shape of the roof and the brightness of everything, I did want to tone down the colors just a little bit. I'm more used to using muted tones, so I was definitely staying a little bit more in my comfort zone. But as I was building this over on Twitch, I did have some community members who were keen for me to inject brighter colors, so I tried to kind of incorporate some color where possible while still staying true to my own kind of aesthetic and what I enjoy to use. But I do think that the color around it is so fun. There are some really great shapes to some of the houses around the space as well. So I want to kind of explore a few more shapes as well with the new build by contact that we got with Enchanted by Nature. These are just the first couple of homes that I built. I'm also keen to maybe try a business for this expansion pack. So maybe using businesses and hobbies with the Enchanted by Nature style. So if you've got any ideas of what could be good, maybe, a plant shop is kind of the first thing that comes to mind, would be perfect, because as fairies you have kind of special abilities, or you can grow your abilities in order to look after plants. And obviously there's the I think the apothecary skill and the naturopath career, so maybe something along those lines. But if you've got any additional ideas, do drop them down into the comments. Love to hear them. And I'm keen to flex my skills a little bit in the community lot space, because I definitely enjoy building residentials, so that will probably still be the majority of my content, but I do want to practice my community lot skill and grow that a bit more. I'm much less confident in that space, so I just think, practice makes perfect. And I've been scrolling and trawling. There's a new word for you. Trawling through Pinterest, and I've been saving a lot of inspiration recently. I've been really in the mood for building, and I've just got way too many ideas in my brain than what I actually have time to build. So, the struggle continues, but I work as fast as I can, and if I could spend most of my time in the day building in The Sims, I totally would. Yet unfortunately that's not a reality for me. But this build, as you can see, I'm working on the landscaping first, which is another thing that's not necessarily my usual style. If you've seen a few of my speed builds here on the channel, you might notice that I often will complete the exterior of the build mostly, and then I'll move inside, do the floor plan, furnish everything, and then do the landscaping last. I sometimes am a bit, for me, it's more around practicality that I do it that way. I know that if I'm going to have to change the shape of the house to fit something on the interior, or to change things on the interior, if I've already done all the landscaping, or especially if I've got terrain paint or something, terrain paint or terrain manipulation, it's going to be a lot more difficult to make those changes after the fact, which is why I generally leave landscaping till last. But for this build, I just felt inspired to do the landscaping. I really have been enjoying this sort of more full looking, colourful, bright gardens and plants and things, just like in the last build I've posted as well. So I kind of went with it. I was feeling it in the moment, and I left the interior to last. So we're moving inside now. In the exterior, you'll see at the back, there's a small yard just off to the side of the house. And I wanted to put a couple of activities in there for kids because, as I said at the start, this is technically a family home. I've furnished it as a family home. There are 3 bedrooms, but there's actually space for 4 Sims, or there are five Sims, bed spaces for 5 Sims, I think. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. So I've got a double bed, a top bunk single, a toddler bed, and a bassinet for a baby. Of course, you can shift those out and swap in whatever you need for your gameplay, for your Sims lives. But as this was a family home, I wanted to make sure I had, some kids' rooms in here. And so I put the horseshoe activity I think that came with Outdoor Retreat, and a swing set as well. That swing set we got new with this pack, and it is adorable. It matches really well with the new fence that we got and that beautiful, really detailed kind of archway gate thing. So yeah, I thought the outside area it's small, but it's cute. It's small and quaint. Then on the interior here, I'm not restricting packs on this build, so it does use, no, that's not true. What am I even talking about? I absolutely restricted packs for this build. Wow. Okay, look, it's been a long day. I worked all day today and I'm tired recording this voiceover. So ignore that. The correct information is that I absolutely restricted packs. The first build I did, I don't think I restricted packs. But someone's going to probably comment and say, yes, you did. I cannot remember. Okay, so this build, I'm not going to list them off right now because I can't remember them off the top of my head. But I did pick specific packs for The Sims 4 that I thought were going to work really well. Obviously, you can see in the interior, there's a bunch of horse ranch stuff. There's, what else did I use? I used, some of the other occult style packs, and stuff packs and game packs. And I used a few kits as well. So I'll put the full list of everything I used in the description below, so that I don't have to remember it now and make any more mistakes about that. You can see here that I am just finishing off the living dining area. It's a big open plan space here, and then the kitchen's actually separate. I wanted to make a really nice big kitchen space. It felt like it fit in this kind of build. One of those big kitchens that has a fireplace in the middle of the kitchen, a beautiful stone floor. It just feels kind of cozy, and it's got those kind of castle vibes. So yeah, I really like how the kitchen turned out here. But first I'm finishing off this space. There are some more activities for your kids. So I've placed a dollhouse. That's the new one that came with Enchanted by Nature. A TV if your Sims feel like watching something on the telly. A nice big dining table either for your family or also to entertain. And some additional activities like the bookcase and things. The other thing I wanted to make sure I did in this build was play around a little bit with the lighting. So I've really been trying lately to not just default to all the saucer lights. Those small saucer lights are the best form of lighting a space in The Sims 4, in my opinion. As a general rule, if you just want to see things really well in a room, the small saucer lights or even the larger ones work so well. They're base game, and they're they're not at all intrusive in your gameplay as well, because they're so small. They don't get in the way of kind of screenshots or what you're trying to look at when you're doing your gameplay. So I love them. They're probably... it's a boring admission, but they're probably my favorite lights in the game, just for practicality's sake. So lately I have been trying to use them less unless I really need them. So I've been I usually put them in my build just to start with so I can see what I'm doing, so that I can make the rooms bright enough to kind of get a feel for the colors. Otherwise, you kind of get some darker shadows and things that make it really difficult to see the room properly. So I put them in to start with, and then lately I've been trying to swap them out for different types of lights, whether they're ceiling lights or floor lamps or table lamps, or even wall sconces, and just trying to make the lighting give the spaces a bit more personality. So what you can also do with the Twisted Mexi mod Better Build By is in build mode, you can adjust the brightness or dimness of lights and also the kind of color that it emits. And that's really awesome because in game you can only do that in live mode. So being able to do it straight here in build mode is great. So not only am I trying to kind of play around with different light sources, I'm also trying to set them up in different, where it's appropriate, with some different brightnesses, and yeah, just trying to make the light in the space more have more personality in case you are going to use this in gameplay. I just think it's a nice little touch and adds a little bit of realism to things as well. So I've talked straight through the kitchen. This is the kitchen. It's quite large. It's got a big island in the center. As I said, it's got that nice big fireplace. That one was new with Enchanted by Nature. And you'll see I also use quite a lot of cottage living in here as well, and horse ranch. So the kitchen cabinets and benches are all horse ranch. There's some cottage living wallpaper, that beautiful pinky red flower wallpaper is from Cottage Living, and then these gorgeous new curtains from Enchanted by Nature as well. A few other details like this. This is me swapping out the lights now, getting this big kind of candle chandelier thing in the center of the kitchen. I sort of imagine the family that live here. They don't live off the grid. They certainly sort of have electricity in that, but I feel like they're a little more in touch with living, I don't know, more eco-friendly perhaps. So they don't necessarily need the most up-to-date or modern appliances. They're happy with, cooking on a bit of an older stove or even in the fireplace or growing their own vegetables, that kind of thing. I thought that fit. That's the sort of family that I imagined living here. Not that impressed by mod cons and that kind of thing. Upstairs, I've furnished it for the bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So we've got a family bathroom here, which I'm working on, and we've got an ensuite as well for the primary bedroom. So the main bathroom here is pretty roomy. I've managed to fit both a shower and a tub separately, plus a toilet and sink as well, of course, and a few other details. I don't use these things enough, to be honest, and I'm really enjoying playing around with them. These wall decal things that I think there's a mixture of them, I think. Some of them came with maybe Basement Treasures kit. I can't remember where that came, but we have, I think, a few different ones. Maybe Life and Death had some of these wall decals that make it look like the wallpaper's peeled off, or that you can see through to the brick underneath, that kind of thing. Those kinds of details. I put a bunch of those all through the house because I imagine that this family has been here a long time. Again, they're not really fussed about things being absolutely perfect. And I like that lived-in feeling. I remember being a young teenager, and I lived with my mum and my sister and my niece. And my bedroom, we were renting at the time, and I remember my bedroom had huge patches of the wall where the wallpaper had been removed. I think the owners had, planned to remove all the wallpaper of the whole room and kind of got halfway and gave up. And it wasn't messy, really. Like, there wasn't peeling wallpaper anywhere, but there were big chunks of wallpaper that had been torn off. And I remember as a teenager, obviously being quite frustrated by that, because those kinds of things mattered to me then. So yeah, I like the realism of it, and it makes it feel real. It makes it feel real rather than the perfect, the perfect nature that games are often representing, because it's just easier like that, right? So the second bathroom here is a lot smaller, obviously, because it's just an ensuite. And again, I put a bunch of those decals up. I loved using this wall paint as well. So this, I'm going to get this wrong, I think. I think it's from Life and Death, where there are two different types of wall covering. And one of them is this one where along the bottom you can see just where the wall connects to the floor. It's all sort of worn off, and it's like they painted and the paint's peeling off, and you can see the brick or the wall underneath. Really, really loved using that in here. And again, same kind of idea, just making it look really lived in, a bit more realistic, and not so perfect as well. I talked right through the primary bedroom, but you would have seen it's fairly simple. It's got a double bed in it. It's got the nice big mirror that we got with Enchanted by Nature, which has those awesome like mushroom toadstool things around it. That's probably the most fairy style piece that I ended up putting in this house. I really wasn't sure if I liked that in here, because I was going for a bit more of a realistic vibe than the last build I did, but I think it kind of works. And then also in the primary room, there's the table that we got with the Crystal Creations kit, where you can craft your own jewelry. I can't remember the exact name of the item, but and it's an activity desk, so your Sims will be able to craft their own jewelry. I thought maybe one of the parents here did that either for a hobby or maybe for a living, and the style matched what I was going for here. The baby's room is quite small and compact. I did playtest this, so everything should function, or at least everything that you really need to use should function. There might be one or two things here or there that I potentially missed, small objects that you can just go into build mode and shift out. But all the main important items like the beds and the bathroom objects, etc., and all the seating and stuff should work fine. I did have to, after I recorded this, I then went and play tested, and I did have to shift a few things. So this child's room that I'm working on right now, frustratingly, you can't put objects underneath the bunk bed that aren't like a second bed. So the toddler bed works fine where it is because it snaps underneath the top bunk. But the other objects that I put beside, so there's a little bedside table and a little toy. With those objects there, it stops your sim from being able to access the top bunk. So that was so annoying because I really liked those little bits of detail. So those have been removed from the final build when you download this from the gallery. Speaking of which, my gallery ID is KiwiSimsKate. I hope you enjoyed this video. Follow me over on any of my socials. You can find me at KiwiSimsKate. Take care out there. Bye.